My wife had a second Facebook account. Private. Hidden. I created a fake profile and sent a friend request. Hours later, she accepted. My stomach dropped as I scrolled. Photos of candlelit dinners, sunsets on the beach. But the captions said it all. Another perfect night with the love of my life. And none of them were about me. That night, I whispered, "Your secret life looks beautiful." She gasped, and her next words confirmed she had no regrets. I never thought I'd be here writing one of these, but here we are. I'm not looking for sympathy. I just need to get this out. Maybe someone out there has been through something similar. Maybe someone can tell me what the hell to do next. I, 38 male, have been married to my wife Sarah, 36 female, for 10 years. We live in a suburb just outside Chicago. I work in logistics. She's a freelance photographer. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I thought we were solid. Boring even. But boring can be good, right? About 6 months ago, things started to feel off. Sarah became more protective of her phone. She used to leave it lying around all the time, but now it was glued to her side. Locked, face down, notifications turned off. She was also distant, less affectionate. Conversations felt surface level. We'd sit on the same couch and feel miles apart. She started working late more, going on more photo shoots that didn't really add up. I noticed the small stuff first, her putting on makeup to go meet a client, but coming back hours later with no memory card in her camera. Things that didn't make sense. I asked her a few times if something was going on. She always said no. Told me I was being paranoid. Said I was just stressed from work and overthinking. Maybe I was. Or maybe I wasn't. One night, Sarah left her laptop open in the kitchen. She was upstairs in the shower. I walked past and something caught my eye, the Facebook login screen. But the email on the screen wasn't hers. Or at least, not the one I knew. It had her maiden name and a few random numbers. Something about it felt wrong. I stood there for a long time just staring at it. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I memorized the email. I didn't touch the laptop. Didn't want to leave a trace. But that email stuck in my head like a splinter. Later that night, after she fell asleep, I made a fake Facebook account. I called it Mike Randall. Used a profile pic of some random guy in sunglasses I found on a stock photo site. Basic info, nothing that could link back to me. I searched for that weird email address. And it worked. There it was. A profile I'd never seen. It had no real identifying info. Just some beach photo as the cover image. Profile pic of a wine glass. I sent a friend request. She accepted it 3 hours later. I didn't sleep that night. My hands were shaking as I clicked through the profile. There were photos. Lots of them. Sunsets. Dinner tables for two. Hotel balconies. Close-up shots of her smiling. But not just any smile, her real smile. The one she used to give me when we first met. There was a man in some of the pictures, but never fully in frame. Just parts, his hand on hers, the back of his head, his reflection in a wine glass. But the captions. Another perfect night with the love of my life. So lucky to have found you. Counting down the days until I'm in your arms again. My stomach dropped. I felt physically sick. This wasn't just cheating. This was something else. A second life. A secret life. And I wasn't a part of it. I sat in the dark, scrolling for hours. Every post felt like a knife. Every like, every comment, proof that she was sharing something with someone else that used to belong to me. I didn't sleep at all that night. Just stared at the ceiling and waited for the sun to rise. The next night, I said it. We were in the living room. The TV was on, some show playing in the background. She was scrolling through her phone, smiling. I said, very quietly, "Your secret life looks beautiful." She froze. Didn't look up. Just sat there, like her brain was rebooting. Then slowly, she looked at me. "What did you say?" I repeated it. Louder this time. She stared at me, her mouth slightly open. No words. So I pulled out my phone and showed her the fake profile. Her hidden account. The pictures. The captions. She looked like she'd been hit by a truck. I asked her, "Who is he?" And after what felt like a lifetime, she said his name. Daniel. She met him in New York over a year ago at a photography expo. She said it started as friendship, long-distance texting, DMs, calls. Then it turned into something else. He lives in Miami. He owns a gallery. She'd been flying out for work, but really, she was with him. Candlelit dinners, beach walks, hotel stays. All while I was at home feeding the dog and making dinner for one. I asked, "Are you in love with him?" She said yes. Just like that. No hesitation. No tears. No apologies. Just yes. I asked her, do you even love me anymore? She looked down, quiet, then said, I don't know. It was like I left my body. Everything felt cold. I couldn't think straight. I said, you've been lying to me for over a year. She said, I never meant to hurt you. And I laughed. I actually laughed. The kind of laugh you do when everything just breaks inside you. I told her to leave. She grabbed a bag and left without saying a word. I don't even know where she went. I sat there for hours after, trying to figure out if this was all real. The next day, I took a walk around our neighborhood. Same streets, same houses, but everything felt different, like the whole world had shifted. I haven't told anyone, not friends, not family, just Reddit. It's been 3 days. She hasn't called. I haven't reached out. I haven't blocked her account. I still check it every few hours like a masochist, hoping she deletes the posts, hoping she reaches out. But she hasn't. This isn't just about cheating. It's about lies. It's about feeling like a ghost in your own life. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if I'm filing for divorce or if she's even coming back. I don't know if I want her back. All I know is I can't unsee what I saw, and I can't unhear the word yes. I didn't eat for 2 days. Didn't sleep either. Just existed. I sat in silence, sometimes staring at the front door, thinking maybe she'd come back. Not to fix things, just to explain. Or apologize. Something. But nothing. Then on day 3, she texted me. We need to talk. That was it. Not I'm sorry. Not are you okay? Just we need to talk. Like she was the one stuck in a hard place. I didn't reply right away. I stared at the message for hours. My thumb hovered over the keyboard, but I couldn't figure out what to say that didn't involve screaming. Finally, I said, come get your stuff. She showed up that night. I was home, sitting on the porch with Buddy, trying to make sense of the past decade of my life. She got out of her car slowly, no makeup, hoodie on, hair pulled back. She looked tired, worn down, like she hadn't been sleeping either. Good. We didn't say anything at first. She just stood there. Then she whispered, can I come in? I shrugged. It's still your house. For now. Inside, the silence was thick. Buddy didn't even go to her like he usually did. He stayed by me. Good boy. She sat on the edge of the couch. Same place she used to curl up beside me every night. I ended it, she said quietly. With Daniel. I asked. She nodded. The day after you found out. I blocked him. I looked at her. Why? Because you got caught. She flinched. Because it was wrong. I should have ended it before. I should have never. You should have never lied to me for a year. I snapped. My voice cracked. You should have never looked me in the eye every day and pretended nothing was wrong. She started to cry. Real tears this time. But I felt nothing. You're not crying for me, I said. You're crying because you lost him. Her silence was my answer. She wiped her face and said, I didn't come here to beg. I need to tell you everything. And she did. More than I wanted to hear. She told me Daniel had asked her to move to Miami. He had a guest house. He wanted her to open a joint studio with him. She had thought about saying yes. While I was planning our 10-year anniversary, she was thinking about leaving me for some guy she met once at a hotel bar. She said she didn't go because it didn't feel right. But I don't believe that. She didn't go because she was scared. Not because of love. Not because of guilt. Just fear. And then here's the twist. She said Daniel was married. Yeah, married. With kids. I blinked. Wait, you were the other woman? She nodded, ashamed. I didn't know at first. He told me later. Said he was going to leave her. I laughed again. Cold and sharp. Classic line. She looked miserable. He was everything I thought I wanted. He made me feel seen. Alive. But he's a liar too. Guess you two had that in common, I muttered. She didn't argue. Then she said something that stopped me cold. I took a test. I don't know who the father is. I just stared at her. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She just said it like it was weather. Rainy. Cloudy. Maybe a storm on the way. What test? I asked, already knowing. She looked down. I'm pregnant. I had to get up. I walked to the sink and grabbed it like it could hold me up. She kept talking behind me. I don't know how far along yet. I have a doctor's appointment next week. I swear I didn't plan this, Mark. I didn't. I turned around. Is it his? I don't know, she said. It could be yours. But it could be his, I said. And you didn't think to tell me when I found out about your affair? You waited 3 days to drop this. She stood up, trembling. I didn't know how. I was scared. I still am. I looked her dead in the eyes. I don't even know who you are anymore. She walked to the door, paused, then turned back. I want to do the right thing. Whatever that is. She left. I collapsed in the hallway, shaking. Buddy nudged me, whined, licked my hand. What the hell do I do now? She's pregnant. It might be mine. It might not. And she's already destroyed everything I believed about our life together. I'm stuck between wanting to run and needing to know the truth. She wants to do the right thing, but I don't even know what that is anymore. I haven't responded to her since that night. I've barely slept. Every time I close my eyes, I see that damn profile. The captions. Her face lit up with love that wasn't for me. And now a baby. Possibly mine. Possibly his. What the hell am I supposed to do? I'm not ready for this to end. But I'm not ready to forgive either. 2 days after she dropped the pregnancy bomb, I got another surprise. This one didn't come from Sarah. It came from Daniel's wife. Yeah, she messaged me on Facebook. Her name is Alana. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. Her message was short. I think we need to talk. I know about Sarah. My heart skipped. I wrote back. How did you find me? She replied. She commented on his old Instagram post under her real name. I searched her. Found your wedding photos. I'm sorry. We talked later that night on a video call. She was sitting in a dim kitchen, 2 little kids running around in the background. She looked tired. Hollow. Not angry, just numb. She told me Daniel had been cheating on her for years. Sarah wasn't the first. Probably wouldn't be the last. But something about Sarah's posts made it feel more real to her. Serious. Romantic. Like he was building a whole second life. Alana found out about the affair a month ago. She confronted him. He denied it. Said it was harmless flirting. Said Sarah was just obsessed with him. Gaslighting 101. But then, Alana checked his travel receipts. Miami, New York, Chicago. It all lined up. She told me something that made the room spin. He had a vasectomy 6 years ago. What? I asked. He's sterile, she said. We tried for a third baby a few years ago and couldn't. He got tested again. It's not possible. You're saying, I'm saying the baby isn't his. Can't be. I just sat there, staring at the screen. Alana looked at me. If Sarah's pregnant, the child is yours. My first reaction was relief. Then fear. Then more confusion than I've ever felt in my life. After we ended the call, I walked around the house for a full hour. Couldn't sit still. Couldn't focus. If Alana's right, then this kid is mine. And now everything is different again. I told Sarah the next day. Told her I spoke to Alana. Told her what I learned. She was quiet for a long time. Then she whispered. He told me he wanted kids. Said his wife didn't. He lied to me too. I didn't respond. I didn't have anything left to say to that. But then she dropped another bomb. I didn't block him. I stared at her. What? She looked ashamed. I said I did. But I didn't. I couldn't. I wasn't ready to let go. That was the moment I broke. You stood in my house and told me you ended it. You told me you wanted to do the right thing. But you're still talking to him. She nodded. I haven't seen him. Just messages. I was confused. I thought maybe if the baby was his, we could. I held up my hand. Stop. She froze. You used to be the most honest person I knew. And now I don't even believe you when you say what you had for lunch. She cried again, but I was done feeling bad for her. Then came the worst part. She told me she booked a flight to Miami. She was going to go see him. Talk to him face to face. Figure it out. Figure what out? I asked. If you still want to be with him? She didn't answer. Which was answer enough. I told her if she got on that plane, we were done. No more talks. No more counseling. No co-parenting conversations. Lawyers only. And you know what she said? She said, I have to do this for me. That was 2 days ago. She's gone now. On a plane to see the man who lied to her about everything. I don't even know what I want anymore. Part of me wants her to stay there. Live her fake love story with Daniel until it collapses under its own lies. Another part of me wants her to come back. Not because I still trust her, but because of the baby. Because maybe there's a chance to salvage something. But the biggest part of me knows that even if she walks back in tomorrow and begs for forgiveness, I'll never forget that night I saw her other life. The life that looked beautiful. The life that wasn't with me. And now I'm left here, with a ghost of a marriage, a baby on the way, and a storm I never saw coming. And she's chasing a man who will never give her what she thought he would. Where the hell do I even go from here? It was a Friday when she came back. I didn't know she was coming. She just showed up, suitcase in one hand, her phone in the other, looking like she hadn't slept the whole trip. Her hair was a mess, as red like she'd been crying on the plane. I was sitting on the porch again, same spot where I'd waited for her before. I didn't say anything when I saw her pull up, just stared. She walked up the steps slowly, like every footstep might collapse the world. "I need to talk to you," she said. "Of course you do," I replied. My voice sounded flat, even to me. We went inside. She sat on the couch. I stood. "I saw him," she said. "Daniel." I waited. He didn't want to see me. I showed up at his gallery and he pretended not to know me. Told the receptionist I was some crazy fan. Security made me leave. Good. I didn't say it out loud, but it felt good. Like watching someone you once loved take a fall they earned. She continued. I messaged him again after. Told him I was pregnant. He blocked me. I let the silence stretch. She sniffled. "You were right. He lied to me. About everything. He never loved me. I was just another woman to him." Still, I didn't speak. I was tired of her words. Then she said the thing that brought the whole house down. "I scheduled an abortion." My heart stopped. "What?" I whispered. "I'm not keeping it," she said. "It's not the right time. Not with everything that's happened." I sat down hard in the armchair. My ears rang. "I need to know," I said slowly. "Is it mine?" "I think so," she said. "But I can't be sure." "You're telling me," I said, my voice shaking, "that you might be carrying my child, and you didn't even ask me before deciding to end it?" She looked away. "I didn't think you'd want it." "You don't get to decide that for me," I snapped. "Not after everything. You don't get to take that from me too." And then I lost it. I stood up and shouted louder than I've ever shouted before. All of it came out. Every lie. Every moment she was with him while I sat alone thinking she was working. Every fake smile. Every fake, "I love you." The betrayal, the gaslighting, the guilt she never really showed. She just sat there, letting it happen. When I finally stopped yelling, my chest heaving, she whispered, "I deserve it." "Yeah," I said. "You do." Then, from the hallway, came a voice I wasn't expecting. Jake, my best friend. He'd come over to return a borrowed drill, apparently. Walked in through the side door like he always did, but froze when he heard the yelling. He looked between us. "Should I go?" "No," I said. "Stay? Maybe you can tell me if I've officially lost my mind." Jake sat down cautiously. "What's going on?" he asked. "She cheated," I said. "She lied. And now she's pregnant and doesn't know whose it is." Jake looked at Sarah, then at me. Jesus. She covered her face with her hands. Jake leaned forward. "Look, man, I don't know what to say, but this is heavy. You can't go through this alone." I nodded. "I haven't been alone. I've had Buddy. That dog's been more loyal to me than anyone." Jake didn't laugh. He just nodded slowly. Sarah stood up. "I'll go. I shouldn't have come like this. I just didn't know who else to turn to." Jake stopped her. "You should be honest, Sarah. Really honest. Because this isn't just about you." She looked at me. "I thought I wanted him," she said. "Daniel. The romance, the excitement. But it wasn't real. You were real. You were here. You always showed up. And I took that for granted." I felt my eyes burn. I hated that part of me still wanted to hear those words. Still wanted it to mean something. She continued, "I didn't come back for forgiveness. I know I don't deserve it. I came back because I didn't know where else to go. And maybe that's selfish too." Jake stood. "You guys need space. Real space. Lawyers. Mediation. You can't fix this in a week." She nodded. I looked at her. "If it's mine, I want a paternity test. If it's mine, I want to say. But if you go through with what you told me, and it is mine, I don't know if I can ever look at you again." She broke then. Really broke. Fell to her knees on the rug, sobbing. Jake stepped outside to give us space. I watched her cry. And for the first time since this all began, I didn't feel pain. I felt empty. 3 months later. We're separated now. Paperwork's moving slow, but it's happening. She didn't go through with the abortion. Said she couldn't. We got the test back last week. It's mine. She called me, crying again. Said she wanted to raise the baby together. Try again. Co-parent. Maybe even rebuild. I told her I'd be there for the baby. Always. But I wouldn't be her husband again. Too many lies. Too many cracks. Jake says I'm strong. I don't feel it. I still wake up some nights reaching for her. Habit dies hard. But then I remember that hidden Facebook profile. That fake life. Those words meant for someone else. And I remember that I survived it. So yeah, I'm still here. still broken in places, but healing. Being lied to changes you, but telling yourself the truth? That's where the healing starts. I don't know what kind of dad I'll be, but I'll show up, and that'll be more than she ever did for us.